And recording. Hey guys, welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. It's a new game set in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, also the World of Darkness universe, also etc, etc. I'm streaming this on Twitch, so I may talk to the Twitch chat very occasionally, if I feel like it. And, yeah, we're just gonna play the game. I think I'll probably upload this in, like, hour-long chunks, most likely. And just for everyone on the YouTube who's like, hey, Sheepy, where are all your videos? I am working on them. I've been taking a mix of a break and doing a lot of off-camera shit. I have a lot of footage that I need to edit for lamb chops. I have a lot of videos half-finished that I need to finish and start releasing. So I'll do a proper update video soon, but I just wanted, for anyone who's a regular on the channel, I just wanted everyone to know that I haven't completely stopped. I'm just half-baked. So anyway, let's play the game. Ah, okay, so we have a choice between three. These are probably my three least favorite clans, funnily enough. So I don't know who I'm going to choose here. Anyway, Bruja, the Rabble rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. The aristocratic Blue Bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. The Divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant undeath. And apparently no one's joining that tonight. Radk, thank you for the host. Much appreciated, man. I find the Bruja to be fun, but their standard rebel without a cause bullshit is just kind of meh. Incidentally, from what I've read, there's a lot more stories going to be added to this. So the fact that you have Bruja, Ventru, and Toreador probably means that they're going to be releasing other clan stories. Just, you know, these were probably the easiest to do, because a lot of the other clans are very specific and very weird. Like the Nosferatu and Malkavian probably have to have their own story, just because they wouldn't fit in with the others. So yeah, not a massive fan of the Bruja, or the Anarchs. The Ventru are kind of okay, but a little bit, yeah. I think I'm going to go with the Toreador. Also because the other two talk about someone joining their ranks, and this one doesn't. I want to know why. Tremere are not the best clan. And also I took away your at Daddy Sheep do privileges, so I don't know why you're at Daddy Sheep doing me. Doc, keep an eye on that. Purging is acceptable, banning if necessary. Okay, so Toreador. Choose your name. Oh, I need the on-screen keyboard because my keyboard is broken. Name. Damn it. Wait, my on-screen keyboard doesn't work? Oh god, okay, can I do... I can't put you in! Daedalis. I was gonna go with Daedalis. It wasn't actually a pun on them being dead, but, but then I did it, and I realized that it was a pun, you know, Daedalis. Anyway, Daedalis. Is there voice acting? Doesn't sound like it. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. That we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen for a little longer. You see, my mistake was I flew too close to the sun. Oh my god, Icarus! If I'm Daedalus, that means I'm your dad. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. Hey Sheepy, are you Icarus? No, I'm Daedalus. But apparently this person's Icarus because they flew too close to the sun. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in the eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within me and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided it would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you. An apex predator. She probably enjoyed showing me, a peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggarts and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying, you're eternally doomed to being at the mercy of your sovereigns. It's almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. Can we get into the options here? Text. Let's make it small, because I'm going to read it out for you guys anyway, so hopefully that will mean it won't scroll. Yeah, okay. Looks better. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get that wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favour you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think you won't get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. It's been a slow evening. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on the plate remind you that, if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met that one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. Then there's the obligatory doe-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. That ignoble, dubious honour belongs to one of the other paintings on display. And yet, its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy canapé. So many sycophants to meet, so little time. For a moment, you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should take the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation, and get it over with. And as if the universe wanted to validate that train of thought, that's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. So, let me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you? I hate this voice. Hi, you absolutely despise her as an artist. While you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideals of what art is meant to be, she's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on little-known street art and niche internet memes, she repackages them as bourgeois-friendly collages. So perhaps it's no wonder the New York Times has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. But in spite of all that, you absolutely love her as a person, even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head. A gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. No, but seriously, supporting young artists my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this piece, but I doubt it was even a fraction of what it's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS. And I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer and then segue into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills. This accent is top 10 annoying, right? I hate it. As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. She claims to happily accept the fact that after she dies, both she and her work will end up in a landfill. When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 in a million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before, and managed to accept you'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely, you move on to the more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get hammered together, or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Brad, watch Daybreak! Sorry, just had to put that in there. Alright, gotta go, I've got a date. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men. Yeah, she's got an American, inverted commas, American accent, and I have a British accent, apparently, so it's an interesting family. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes they've got in their stale repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. Jesus Christ, Em, you're the worst. And the best, you can feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put the money in your wallet and move outside. When you reach the balcony, you look out at New York City and light the second last cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up, but it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The streetlights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork, beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Working title, Delusion of Grandeur. The author, a brilliant artistic soul, crushed by unfeeling reality, gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part, he's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself. Now, people standing in silent awe. The guy like a beacon drawing everybody's attention. Hushed conversations about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach, feeling like a kid trying to get close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you'll scare it away, or get shot by a hunter because it's The Walking Dead. There's like 5 people in like a 20 square mile radius, and you still managed to get shot by a rifle, which wasn't even aimed at you. The man turns to you, and you stop in your tracks, entranced. So this is one of your pieces. Oh, that's his voice, huh? You manage to mumble an affirmation. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration, technique, and process, the man's eyes lock onto the painting again. He keeps interjecting, making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you, but you realize you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you. I want to buy it, and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You will like what I have to say. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up, like he knows that you won't refuse, that you can't refuse. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment, one of many, you presume, with your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in New York City, how you had to take out a loan to appear at tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony, that you thought about taking the plunge, and this time, you were only half joking. You feel miserable. You start crying. He holds you in his arms. You feel calmer. The tears stop flowing. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to, but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? Maybe there is hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he still here? Thank God, yes, there he is, standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope, until you realize what he's saying. I am so sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment, I wished you well. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him. Alone. Again. Then the pain hits. It's a headache, a lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into a wall, shattering into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape, stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman, inch by inch. The pain turns into an urge. You need to get close to her. You begin to see details. The long hair shrouding her face, the worn-out New York University hoodie thrown over her skimpy peach-colored dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. A rabid instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweat, mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. You bite down and drink the blood from her veins. Wait. What's happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp, and unconscious again. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deeply from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's bliss like you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again. Fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh God, she's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing. No heartbeat. No sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart is not beating. You are cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Or maybe he took it? Impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here now. You look outside the window. You're high above the streets, there's no balcony, and the building's exterior is glassed almost all the way down. You'd never survive the jump. But maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You've just killed somebody. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into an unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does, and the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he's sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beat again with excitement as the doors open. Almost, but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life, but you immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He's a predator. And if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Good evening. I'm here to pick you up. A deep, emotionless voice. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in purple, NYU hoodie, and raises an eyebrow. I killed her. I think I killed her. Yes, that does seem to be the case. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture, actually, if troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you, and you see they tend to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones, those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go, safe and sound. Then, there were the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered this speech countless times by now. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. I love baseball, and it inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system to determine if someone is dumb. If you get on my nerves 1 or 2 times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, I understand, sir, now. You feel an overwhelming, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. This character so far seems reasonably weak. So, I understand, sir. Excellent. Alright, Have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're all right? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason, the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. Yeah, he has fangs! Someone closest to you? Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away. Yeah, like that little bit of unease is enough to be like, I'm not telling him, so we're gonna lie. His name is Eduardo. He's my boyfriend, lives in Queens, he's a barista, and the stranger's been watching you with wary eyes since the moment you started talking, but only interrupts you at the first moment of visible hesitation. You're 100 years too young to try and fool me, whelp. Even your tells have tails. First strike, try again. Your first instinct is to protest, but you realise your thoughts are still too scrambled and panicked to come up with anything coherent. You give up on all planned attempts to provide poor Eduardo with convincing psychological depth. Emma, my sister. She's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artiste friends. Can I call her now? You take out your phone while asking the question. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yeah, agreed. Give me her phone number, I'll have someone get in touch with her. You oblige and hand him the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. I thought you couldn't find the phone earlier. That's true. Is that a plot hole? That sounds like a plot hole. Interesting. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Hey, Twink Tommy, thank you for the raid, mate. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anybody you know you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over, both for you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes. So, if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. The sight of his fangs again, and another physical fight or flight response. You've played right into his hands, putting M in danger. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. By now, you are absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you, but to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow, he makes all of these options seem plausible at once. Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, the kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 AM now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come, we need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back on you to unlock the door. I mean, this character so far, we don't have much about him. He did try and lie, but he was kind of a little bit going on instincts there, I think. Like the fact that he reacted, so I think he would follow because he's already been proven to, like, have been dominated. This character doesn't seem super, Does your character know he's a vampire yet? I don't think so, Winter. Although he didn't react to the fangs like half fangs, but that just might be the writing. You know, it's hard to tell so far. So we're gonna follow, just head out. Okay. You obediently follow him out of the room. Before he locks it again, you manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience, but not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you don't feel guilty, even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. The stranger shows you to the elevator. You go to the ground floor. Also, can I just say, I like the art here, like the subtle little bit of movement. Just makes it a little bit more alive than just, you know, the standard like pictures. I think it's good. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope, and eventually comes across one? Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. What happened to that man? Do you know what happened to the man who brought me here? That's what I'd like to know. As of yet, he is unidentified. They have left no trace, and it's obvious they are not planning to come back for you. If, and that is a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow, and probably for the last time. What do you mean, for the last time? His face is inscrutable. I said what I said. All I can add for now is tomorrow is a big night for you. The elevator door opens to an empty hall. You walk outside past the night guard's post, which is empty. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony just a few hours ago. The man motions to a black Cadillac Escalade. Take a seat in the back, please. Does anyone else think he looks a little bit like Ronan Dex? The character is Ronan Dex. The actor is called... He's Khal Drogo as well. Why do I always forget his name? Can someone in chat tell me what his name is? You get inside. Oh, that's really cool. I like this. It's really cool. Aquaman dude, yeah. You get inside. The man closes the car door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. Jason Momoa, thank you. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without comment. I mean, Jason Momoa would be a gangrel. I think we all know that, right? I think this guy would... He'd want to know where he's going, but he'd also focus on himself. So it'd either be I'm drugged and I feel horrible, and he is very, like, feeling sorry for himself, so I'm going to say I feel horrible. I feel horrible. As you should. He gives you a little side glance in the rear view mirror and bites his lip. Forgive me, I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. Dead silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry afterimage of the man who bought your painting is still there. It's strange, you never felt this way about anybody. It makes you happy, even though you have the nagging thought that there is something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. But then, the girl's hair spilled over the purple hoodie and her blood spilled over the cold floor comes into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it's as if there were no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. You get out in an underground parking lot. It's an ugly, concrete, grey thing. Empty, but for the car you came in. It looks like there's a room beyond a metal door in the wall. Guess you'll live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the metal door and lets you inside. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry again, take a look in the fridge. Tomorrow, I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows, just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan in the wall. It has all the coziness of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. Again, I think he'd go, like, not going in there, he doesn't seem to be very, like, you know, aggressive, fighty. So it would either be mercy pleas or medical help, and I think he'd want the help for himself type thing. I can't feel myself breathing. I can't sense my heartbeat. I need to go to hospital, man. You're gonna be fine. Listen, normally I'd lose my nerve right about now and things would get nasty. But I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you will learn more tomorrow. But now, I need you to rest. And you need you to rest. He gestures inside the room. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. The stranger nods contently. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there, filled with red liquid, unlabeled. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts, a dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually when that happened, you'd turn your attention to painting, just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skills but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with existential despair. Some of your best work was created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint. Like the painting that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You are so tired. Your entire body tenses up. And before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That, in itself, is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on. The AC is still rattling. The refrigerator still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 PM. You've slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing. You're hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its colour and texture are off. You pull the cork out and take a whiff. You recognise the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost... no, not almost. It is enticing. Okay, so this guy doesn't seem like someone who would hold back on his like desires and everything. So I'm gonna say drink the blood. It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland, reminds you of a cheap supermarket juice. Just enough flavour to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had last time. You swallow it. Somehow, you don't feel sick. In a weird, messed up way, you can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more sips, and then just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. Eventually, you find that you've emptied it entirely. All, you look at the info pressed into the side of the bag, 450 milliliters of it. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realise your body longs for that intoxicating high you felt when an image of that corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and you see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again. That predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tamed hawk, maybe. I have the feeling that he's a gangrel. I think he might be. Good evening. Slept well? He notices the discarded, emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Was that really blood? Was that really type RH O+? Not that easy to get. Glad you liked it. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. Again, like, our character doesn't seem particularly aggressive, so I think, you know, it's going to be going along with things for now. Okay, lead the way. After you. You take the back seat again. The doors lock. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. Oh, he's Jesus. Okay. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems more focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked all right. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There is nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you'd prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes. I love this art, by the way. Just that whole thing. What's that? Do you see that there? Oh, look. There's like a dude moving there. He's kind of drunk and staggering. Oh, they're all moving about a little bit. I saw over there was like a little shadow arm or something that popped up. It takes you another 20 minutes or so to get your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe? Wait, you know exactly where you are. The nice-looking two-story building has a logo you immediately recognize. The Art Hole, an avant-garde gallery used to hold that collection of bagged viscera and body parts by... Can't quite remember the guy's name. He's Brazilian, you think? Fabio something or other. After me. No sudden movements, please. You've never been inside, not quite your style, but the place has quite the cult following. You keep racking your brain for more facts, hoping they'll help you with whatever you got into. Two large men in suits flank the door to the gallery on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger who guides you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed, for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the wall, and the atmosphere is polite. Unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you as if wishing to appraise your worth. Memories come back to you like a bad case of PTSD. How many times before had someone judged you, impassively or decisively, through your art? You'd share a piece of yourself with the world, and it'd respond by making you feel like garbage. It always took a lot of effort not to lose your cool and tell all of them to shove their opinions up their collective asses. You know what's funny, actually, is you could do that for like game developers. You could kind of take that statement and put it onto game developers. Because, quite a lot of them feel like what they make is art, and some of it is. Depending on your perspective and their perspective and everything. It's just an interesting thing to take, to think about. Now, looking around, it feels like you've become another artwork as... Sorry, that didn't make sense to me. Now, looking around, it feels like you've become another artwork as commodity to be judged by a bunch of obscenely wealthy, out-of-touch assholes. It makes you want to scream. Good evening, Kadir. And to you, Chalder. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery. A crowd of strangers. You being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, Miss... You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helene Panhard, child of Michaela. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am quite capable of introducing myself. She is somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still, the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into Unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first.